All right, still talking to myself. Now we're on here live. You guys are like, who is this guy talking to? You guys beat me on here today. What up? Everybody feeling good? Everybody ready to learn? Everybody ready to get great? Everybody ready to get great? So today we're going to be talking about what separates the average student from the great student, from the top student. And we're going to talk about wherever you are as a student right now. And many of you guys, if you're honest with yourselves, you're not the student you want to be, right? You're not the student you aspire to be. And we're going to talk about what separates that great top student from the average student, how you can bridge this gap from where you want to go. So let's get at it, guys. I'm excited. We are live as always. Let's go. But stop making excuses. Stop whining. Stop, right? Get at it. No excuses. Just dominate. All right. So, average and great, what separates it? We are currently in the NFL playoffs, and if you guys saw it yesterday, my boy Deshaun Watson balled out. Did anybody see it? Was I the only one who saw it? Deshaun Watson tearing him up yesterday. And I think it's an important lesson point for you guys and what separates a Deshaun Watson from the average quarterback, from the quarterback who doesn't make it. And I think the lessons of his life are going to be very valuable for you guys. And we're going to talk about it today. And after he balled out, the reason that it inspired me to this video, learning is everywhere, as I'm always saying. So whenever something happens, I don't just look at it for its surface value. I look at it for what the deep value is and what I can get from it. Nigel, your first time listening, I'm glad you are here. Hola, Cheney, what up, guys? But what he said was this. After he won and they asked him, like, man, what do you think about it? What do you think about it? Like, you did awesome. And his response, guys, and then you guys know me. This is so me. That's why I love it. His response was, somebody had to be great. Why not me? Oh my gosh. How good is that? Somebody had to be great. Why not me? Somebody had to be great. Why not me? And it's very important that you guys understand, because this is the first step, and we're going to run this through. But the first process to go from being average to being great is to stop blocking yourself from greatness. So many of you guys as students, I get people all the time who send me emails, who send me voicemails, right? And they reach out to me and like, hey, Dr. Pinesett, I just want to start by saying this is totally unlike anyone's ever experienced. These are insurmountable odds, so that's why I'm emailing you. Let me bring it to you. This is why I can't succeed. This is why I can't be successful. This is why I can't get to medical school, etc. And it's so interesting that that is the dynamic that people come with. That's the dynamic that people come with. And we'll further that. I got an email from a student yesterday. You guys know I have my 5 Pillars of Studying Less and Getting Better Grades course. And I had a student email me yesterday, literally, and I showed Shannon and she was cracking up. And I'm like, it's funny, but at the same time, it's ridiculously sad. And this student says, hey, Dr. Pinesett, I love everything you do. I know I need the 5 pillars. I'm not the student I want to be. I want to be great. I will give anything. Can I have your course for free? And you guys who know me know if you email me, I'll give you a course for what you can afford. But when you email me and you ask for free, that to me shows that you aren't ready to be great. And for you guys, so many of you guys have all these reasons why you can't be great, why you can't succeed, why other people are better than you. And you focus on all those excuses as opposed to finding the solutions that will lead you to domination, which is why I'm constantly saying, no, you should just dominate. How many of you guys walk around feeling inferior to your classmates? How many of you guys walk around blaming a teacher, a TA, a question on the test, the grading, your friends? You walk around, I have to live off campus. Or you blame all these things for the reason you're not getting the grade. Oh, you distracted me. My friends distracted me. I didn't have the notes. I got sick. We blame all these things, but how many of you guys, right, instead of saying why you can't be great, how many of you guys can't just find the way to be great? Can't just start thinking that way? And for me, right, we talk about Deshaun Watson and someone had to be great, why not me? What is Deshaun Watson's background, guys? Was he destined for greatness for forever? How did he start off? What was his process to get to this day? Because oftentimes, right, we see the end result because that's when they're on our TV. We see him shining in the NFL as a playoff quarterback, looking ripped, right? Making plays happen. But how did it get there? And if you go back, and I just did some research to see who Deshaun Watson was. Deshaun Watson grew up, single mother home, Okay? Not even single mother home. He actually lost his home. And so he had no home as he was going through high school, and him and his mom were scrounging to work and get through, and he actually had to work all through high school. So if you look at Deshaun Watson's track record in high school, here's a guy who was doing high school all day, going to football practice in the evenings until late, and then after that he was actually going to a courthouse and working at a courthouse most of the week. And so you have a guy who's going to school full time, who's working full time, who's doing football, which is a huge time commitment for people who know what athletes have to go through, who's doing all these things. And when they asked him about, like, man, like, wasn't it hard working in high school and doing these kind of things? He's like, listen, I knew what it was. I knew we needed the money. I knew what had to be done, and I stepped up and did it. And that's that mindset of someone has to be great. Why not me? Instead of complaining about what the work has to be done, just understand that the work has to be done. Whatever your plot, whatever your path is in life, don't be angry about it. Instead, just get it done so you can have the success. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense? We can't be caught up in, it's easy to complain and to be bitter that you have to do extra work. But instead of being bitter about it, how about you just do the work? You got to do it anyway. That's what stands between you and success. Why can't you be great? Well, are you willing to do that work? And you have to have that mentality. And I relate so much to this. Like I said, it was just like, this is how the world works, is that I hear that quote and I relate to that quote. Someone had to be great, why not me? And then I look at where it came from. And I'm a student, if you guys don't know my background, who I didn't have the parent support, the finances when I went to college. I had to make it happen. When I started college, I lived in a triple occupancy dorm, and I had a job. And I hated that job because I knew they weren't paying me my true value. And I knew that having to work all the hours I would have to work wouldn't allow me to get the grades I wanted to get into a Stanford Medical School. So what I did, guys, was I said, no, instead of being bitter, instead of being angry, I'm going to be better. For you guys, don't be bitter, be better. Be better. And that's what I said. I said, listen, I'm not going to, and I'll kid you guys not. So Shannon always cracks up. In college, I had a few jobs. My very first job in college, okay, I was working at Sports Chalet. I don't even know if they no one even shops anymore. I don't even know if they have Sports Chalets anymore. I was working at Sports Chalet, and I quit after a week because at Sports Chalet, they wanted me to lift heavy boxes. And I said, I'm not doing that. And I was lifting heavy boxes for an hourly wage that wasn't going to pay the bills that I had. So instead, I was like, okay, I need a different job. So I got a job tutoring for Kaplan. And I worked for Kaplan, and I looked at what Kaplan was paying me and what they're paying and what the students were paying to work for Kaplan, and I said, I'm not doing that. So then I started my own tutoring company, and I busted my butt, and I said, listen, someone has to tutor these students. Why does it have to be Kaplan? Why can't it be me? Right? Someone has to tutor them. Why not me? And so I hit the pavement, got business cards, started passing them out, and I made that happen, and I was able to support myself through college with that tutoring company. Right? So that's the obstacle. But instead of being upset that I have to work, I just found a more efficient way to get the money I needed to support my way through college and do what I have to do to survive, right? I looked at students, and this is, I don't know if some of you guys can relate to this. There were times early in my college career, right before my tutoring company really took off, where I couldn't afford, I don't know if you guys ever go through this, I couldn't afford all my books. And I can laugh about it now, but as a student, when you go and you get a syllabus, and then you go to the bookstore, and I guess now you guys don't even go to the bookstore, you guys order online. But back in my day, you had to go to the school bookstore, and it would be like in the basement at UC Irvine, I remember, in the basement. And they would have all the books for every course laid out on the different shelves. And I went to go get my books, and I started looking at the prices and adding them up in my cart, and I recognized that I couldn't afford all of my textbooks. You guys been there? Am I the only one? And in that moment, it's heartbreaking because on the syllabus, they say these are the required texts. This is what you need to succeed. And so it was heartbreaking for me in that moment to say, man, listen, I want to succeed, but if I can't afford the books, I just can't afford the books. And so with that, I could have been bitter. I could have been angry. And I think early on I was bitter and I was angry about it. And I think that was part of the problem I had early on in my career that was making me an average student, right? So for some of you guys, is I was letting that bitterness soak into me. And I was saying, you know what? I can't be great. Not only do they have the books, they got extra books. I can't even afford the single book. They got extra books. They got tutoring. I can't afford tutoring. They got all these things. And so what I did was I got creative. I started making friends with the people in my classes to be able to share books. because a lot of people, right, they're not using their book all the time. So even though it maybe wasn't the most convenient time for me, I was, listen, can I borrow your book between these hours and these hours between this class? And I would borrow people's books. And then for tutoring, I couldn't afford tutoring. So then I figured out there were some programs on campus that offered free tutoring. And so I utilized those resources. And then eventually I became an independent student. I didn't need tutoring, but that was the process I went through of saying, I'm not going to be bitter. I'm not going to be upset about what I have to do. I'm going to figure out what I have to do. And instead of saying, oh, listen, I can't be great, I have to say, well, someone has to get the A. Why not me? And do what's required to get there. Do you guys understand what I'm saying right now? Right, Neil? You have to make that decision. Okay? Someone has to be great. At the same time, so often when we say we're going to be great, so many of you guys don't understand that the road to greatness is paved with adversity. The road to greatness is paved with failure. The road to greatness is paved with setbacks. Too many students shudder at the first sign of adversity. Right? People shudder, run away. Oh, no, it's too hard. It's too difficult. That road is too tough. When we look at Deshaun Watson's career, right, we see the perfection he is now, right? Deshaun Watson, high school, freshman year, torn ACL. Sorry, apologize. Freshman year, college, torn ACL. So he comes in, he's his top prospect. When he first gets to college at Clemson, he gets there, they have a senior quarterback. And this senior quarterback is the incumbent. He's supposed to start. Deshaun Watson comes in as a freshman and says, someone has to start. Why not me? And wins the starting job against those odds, right? Gets starting jobs, doing great, and then tears his ACL at the end of his freshman year. It's like, man, he's a quarterback. He likes to run around. He's speedy. That ACL, he may not come back. And his coach and coaches around the program have been quoted as saying, I've never seen someone rehab as hard as he rehabbed to come back from that. He said, I will make it back. I will come back. I will be back. Those are his quotes, okay? And so he worked hard, came back from that ACL, had a tremendous college career, won the national championship, then moves on to the NFL. He's a top draft pick. Everything's going great. And then his first year of his rookie year of his NFL, he then tears his ACL again. So now his second ACL tear. And what he said about his second ACL tear was that second tear was actually easier to come back from the first tear because he knew what to expect. And this is an important lesson for you guys, is that those failures, those moments, those adversities, those things you go through, those moments are opportunities to strengthen yourself, to harden yourself, to ready yourself for the challenges of the future. So if you tear an ACL, we come back, the next ACL is going to be easier. For some of you guys, right, when you fail a class, you can fail, but don't fail in life, right? You can lose, but don't lose the lesson. So if you fail a class, if you have a setback, right, our name's on here again today, if you have a W, then what are we going to do next time not to have that W? How are we going to be better the next time we go through that? Right? That's how we're going to watch ourselves flow through this process. I myself, like I said, have lots of adversity, hurdles, stumbles, people telling me I can't do it, having flat out, I have failed a class, I have withdrawn from a class, as we talked about before, right? I've done those things. I've had people reject me when I was going for opportunities and I wanted a research position or I wanted that position. I've had that. But every single time I learned and I sharpened my tools, I sharpened my approach so that the next time it would be better. It would be stronger. Right? And I like that. I'm going to take that. A master has failed more times than the student has even tried. And that's so true. And so it's funny because Finnerbach just asked, wait a minute, why do people pay you for tutoring when there is free tutoring on campus? Because, guys, you get what you pay for. And people are willing to pay for value. So when I was a tutor, right, it's much like what I do with my 5 pillars studying lesson getting better grades now. When I was a tutor, I wasn't teaching subjects. That's what everyone does. That's the basic level of tutoring. You go to a free tutoring program, they teach you biology, whatever. That's whatever. But what's the problem with that, guys? Then the next semester, the next quarter, you need tutoring again. So what I said, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to teach people. I taught myself how to become an independent student. So now I'm going to teach other people how to become independent students. So when I tutored, I taught people how to learn themselves, how to learn effectively. And then now that I'm older, I've taken those teachings and I've turned them into a course called the 5 Pillars of Studying Less and Getting Better Grades. So when you say why people pay for it, because they're paying for their independence. How much would you pay to be an independent student who can get A's with less studying and without stress? So that's what I was offering for people. That same mentality that took me from a student who was completely dependent, who was not in a position to succeed, to being a top boss dog dominant student, was a work ethic. And as part of this, so many of you guys want to be great, right? You say, I want to be a great student, I want to get into medical school, I want to do all these things. But what we fail to recognize, because we see a Deshaun Watson succeeding on a Sunday, is that greatness isn't made overnight. Greatness isn't the instant DoorDash order that you can call up. Greatness takes time. And too many of you guys are too hard on yourselves, are too much of a perfectionist, saying, oh, I got to be perfect today. I got to be great today. I got to get the A's today. And you miss out on the small steps that will get you to those A's. That is what you have to do. You have to understand it's going to be baby steps. You're not going to be the best today. And for me, like I said, I talk from a place of domination and from success, but my early days were anything but domination and success. And I tell my story briefly, right, to you guys, like, oh, I was a terrible student, I was told I would get into medical school, and then all of a sudden I'm an A student. And it sounds great. And I say it's short because you guys have short attention spans, but the reality is there was a lot of work and grind and baby steps in between me being a terrible student to me becoming a great student. There was a lot of work between me being a great student myself and being able to translate that into turning other students into great students. Right? I've been working with students for over 15 years, teaching students how to be independent, teaching students, right? Baby steps. Baby steps. You guys have to be willing and allow yourself to take those baby steps to get to your greatness. And I say this because the second thing, right? The first thing is saying, someone has to be great, why not me? You got to figure out, forget the excuses, find the solutions to get to your greatness. But the second part of that is you have to understand that greatness isn't going to happen immediately. So often I see with students who want to be great students, and I applaud their eagerness. They go out here and they see this tip, and this tip, and this strategy, and this strategy. And they learn that strategy or that tip, they try it for one day, and it's hard for them, so they quit, and they go back to their old ways. Or they try to find a new tip. And for you guys on your path to greatness, you have to allow yourself that time. You can't just try something one day and say it's a failure. How many of you guys have done that? Right? You learn a strategy, you try it for one day or for 1 week, and of course, right, you're terrible at it. And you fail to recognize that anything you've ever started, you're always terrible at the beginning. Right? Riding a bike. You forget you had training wheels at one point. You forget you were on a 3-wheel scooter. You expect to just hop on a unicycle? That's what you guys do with studying. Is you learn something, you try it one day or a week, and then you expect to be great. You guys have to think about this and recognize all this strategy switching, all these tip switching, all these things, you got to give it time. You got to let it breathe, baby. Let it out. Let it mature, right? Like the wine, right? You got to crack the wine open. Let the tannins get all like in the air, you know what I mean? And let it mature. Give it that time to be special. Give yourself time to be special. The baby steps, guys. That little bit of work over and over again to be great. As we say this, the other thing I want to say, we'll use another sports analogy. It's easy, right? We look at momentum in a football game. It's easy to be swayed by what has happened previously. I threw an interception. Someone earlier said that Deshaun Watson played terribly and just got lucky. No, guys. What Deshaun Watson did is what the great champions do, which is I don't have to be the best at every moment. But I don't let my failure, I don't let my mediocre moments stop me from being ready when it's time to be great. Deshaun Watson early in his career was compared to Michael Jordan. He's the Michael Jordan of football because he just makes stuff happen. Dabo Swinney called him that. And you guys know the famous quote by Michael Jordan. It might be Wayne Gretzky. I think it's Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, one of the two. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You have to have such belief in yourself that you're going to succeed, that you're going to keep shooting. You're going to keep throwing despite missing shots, despite getting picked off, despite being hit time and time again. So you'll have 3 bad quarters, but you keep plugging away because your moment is right there. And when people say you're lucky, oh man, you're lucky that succeeded. No. I'm not lucky. I just kept going. And I was ready. I stayed hungry. I stayed believing. I stayed trying. And when that moment came of triumph, I made it happen. And you guys saw it in that scramble yesterday, right? He was supposed to be tackled. He got out. And that's lucky. Okay? But then now he's out there. And what does he do? He makes the play. Boom. Goes to the defenders. Makes the play. Some of you guys, right? You're so impatient for your greatness and for your success that when you have that setback, you let it stop you. And you say, man, it just wasn't meant to be. I'm just not enough. And instead of saying, no, I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep trying. And the way I look at this is when I was single, I'm not now, but when I was single, I felt like I could get dates all the time with girls. And the reason I got, like, people are like, man, how do you get so many dates? Like, all these girls all over you. How does this happen? And I would say to people like, nah, it's nothing. I say, the way I get to girls is through persistence. And it's the same way I'm consistent in all aspects of my life. What translates professionally to me to becoming a doctor, getting to Stanford Medical School, becoming an anesthesiologist, right, becoming a great student is the same thing that happens in my personal life. So when it came to, I want to have a beautiful woman by my side. I want to have a smart, intelligent, funny, amazing woman by my side. I have to be persistent because that's a great aspiration. It's not going to happen overnight. So when I used to approach women, people get all hurt. Like, oh, I approach them, hey, how you doing? Can I get your number? No, you can't have my number. You're ugly. Oh, I'm going to cry. I would never cry. It never hurt my feelings. You call me ugly. Why? Because I was going to break the odds. Every single no that I received got me closer to a yes, statistically. You say no, then you should increase my odds of someone else saying yes later. That persistence got me Shannon, who's my everything, right? For you guys, you have to recognize if you want opportunity, if you want the A, why are you stopping? Be persistent. Have the confidence in yourself to say, listen, that didn't go right, but I can get it right. I missed that problem, but I know I can solve it. Man, I missed that midterm. I'm not going to give up and say this class is a lost cause. I'm going to go to the teacher and say, listen, teach me this stuff. What can I do to get extra credit? What can I do to be ready for the next midterm? And I'm going to prepare and work my tail off, and I'm going to be persistent. Persistent to create abundance, as someone just said, and greatness in our lives. Right? And I'll pull Kasim up here. Most great people achieve their greatness, their greatest success, just one step beyond their greatest failure. So for you guys, I know that maybe you've had a bad track record of failing in the past. You can erase all that with just one moment of greatness. So don't quit before your moments of greatness comes to you. Right? And I'll pull my mom up because my mom's on here. Hello, Mother. I can get it right, not giving up. Right? I can get it right, not giving up. Too many of you guys, you give up. And this is the other thing that I want to really clarify here. Because some of you guys right now in your mind, you're saying, I haven't given up. I haven't given up. There are degrees. The world is not black and white, it's gray. There are degrees of giving up. And you guys know what I'm talking about. You can have given up and not quit. Yes, you're still technically a pre-med. Yes, you're technically still trying to be an elite student. But have you given up inside? I honestly, I challenge everyone to ask yourself this right now. Because yes, you technically may still be on a path. But are you engaged? Are you putting in the effort, the requirement? Are you giving it your all? Do you believe in your possibility for greatness and success? Or are you going through the motions? Have you given up and you just, I'm just going to go through the motions. My biggest sadness in this world, two things make me really, really sad. One is that there's so many people who don't have the bare necessities of life. Like, it makes me so sad when I see homeless people, when I see people who are in terrible situations. Like, I'll tell you guys a great story another time, but I actually was in Vegas and stopped a woman from being human trafficked. And that kind of stuff makes me sad. But the second thing that makes me sad is that people waste their potential. And it makes me sad because when people waste their potential, they often don't recognize that they're wasting their potential until it's too late. And what's amazing about that is that we have the ability to obscure our wastefulness until a key moment happens. And then, like a flood, like in a movie, like that flashback, it's a sequence, like all these things are cut together, like a collage. All the moments that led to that big failure flash to you. And now it's too late. How many of you guys have already applied or are about to apply, and everyone you talk to is telling you you're not going to get in? And every time you hear that, you get mad, but then you flash to all the moments in your life where you didn't get the A, where you slacked off, where you didn't take advantage of this opportunity, where you were just there in lab instead of giving it your all. You were just going through the motions. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? I know now you think that you're doing everything you can, you're invested, you're giving it your all, but I want you to come to that moment right now. If I call you a failure, will that help? You're a failure. Flash. Did it hit you? You will not get into medical school. Did it hit you? You are not an A student. Did it hit you? Let it wash over you. Look at yourself. Assess yourself on a daily basis. One of my students, Carlos, he's now entering, I believe now Carlos is a sophomore in college. But he got with me when he was in high school. And he used my 5 pillars for his first year. And what's amazing, right, about the growth that you could have when you start getting educated, you start getting empowered, is that you recognize you're more than anything. And so Carlos thinks he's smarter than me, which I love. And so Carlos has actually created an accountability system that he shared with our student group, the TST, to teach our students about being accountable. Because I'm always stressing, hey, assess yourself. Hold yourself accountable every single day. Look at every single thing you've done. How can you do it better? How will you not have that same failure? And now he's created this incredible accountability system that he's going to be releasing for you guys in the public here through my website. So he's going to put it out for all you guys to get more accountable. But what we have talked about is that this accountability system and the thought process of, listen, I need to hold myself accountable is so powerful because we don't have to wait for this big explosion of failure to happen. Instead, we can see the failure, we can track it out and say, I'm on the path of failure, I better fix it right now, and we can correct it before it's too late. And I encourage all of you guys to recognize, if you're an average student, better yet, I encourage all of you guys, no matter how good of a student you think you are right now, to sit down and think about how you're pulling yourself back from greatness. How are you holding yourself back from being the greatest, most efficient, most successful student possible? And if you have a real, unbiased conversation with yourself, and you're strong enough to do that, I guarantee you will be better tomorrow. Because you will see at least one thing. Most of you guys will see 100 things, but you'll see at least one thing you can do better. You'll see at least one thing you can do better. And if you do one thing better today, and one thing better tomorrow, and one thing better the next day, how much better would you be in a month, in a semester, in a year? We've got to have that real conversation with ourselves. And I say that way because I could say all you average students, but no one wants to claim themselves. And there's a famous study, and I won't botch the study, but essentially the study talked about people's assessment of themselves and where they fit amongst their peer groups. And everyone always, it's like how would you rate your performance on a scale from 1 to 10? Everyone's like, like a 7, right? Everyone always rates themselves about average or above average. But if we're real with ourselves, we can recognize that a lot of us aren't average. A lot of us aren't great. And for me, in my turnaround in going from the average, right, if I was real with myself, the below average student, I had to first recognize that and have that honest conversation. Shoot, I like staying up late in the dorms and talking till 2 a.m. Yep, I do that. That's my choice. I don't go to class when I should be going. I skip the test reviews because I'm too busy. Oh, I'm going to this party. I'm going to that party. I'm playing beach volleyball all day Thursday. And I don't even like volleyball, but I'm out there playing beach volleyball. I don't know why. Because it's not studying, right? It's procrastination. That's the definition of procrastination. I don't even like volleyball, but I go play because it's anything but studying, right? I had to recognize that I was failing myself. I had given up on my greatness. I was holding myself back from greatness, from my success, from my triumph. And it's tough to do, but if you guys do that, you know what amazingly happens? Is that now you're in complete control. You become in control of your life because you recognize, wait a minute, it's not my lack of finances. It's not my lack of reading ability. It's not my lack of books because I can't afford them. It's not any of that stuff. You know what it is? It's me. My effort, my care, my focus, my attention, right? It's me and what I'm putting in. So I encourage all of you guys today, if you understand nothing from this video, right? If you understand nothing from what I'm telling to you right now, understand this. You guys all have greatness in you. You can all be an A student. Anyone can be an A student, but not everyone will. And the separator is those who go and they take greatness and they say, someone has to be great, why not me? And they understand that greatness is going to happen overnight, but they're willing to put the work in and work through adversity, work through obstacles, and be consistent and just get a little bit better all the time until they're the best. And ultimately, we keep that confidence and we know, even in our darkest moments, right? Think of yourself like in a movie, right? No matter how bad it gets in a movie, you're always waiting, okay, wait, are they going to save him? Are they going to save him? You keep waiting because you know the hero doesn't die. You're the hero of your story, guys. They can't kill you. They can't stop you. You're going to come up with some crazy cockamamie scheme. You're going to have a light that's going to kill everybody. Like, you can do this. Stay the path. Keep aspiring for that greatness. And even if you have big stumbles, just know, right beyond that is your success, is your greatness, is your opportunity to be everything you want it to be. Don't let people, don't let things, don't let anything take your dream from you, guys. Yep. Oh, I like this. Kasim. Oh my gosh. Good things come to those who wait, but only the things left by those who hustle. Oh gosh. That's probably the greatest quote I've ever seen. Good things come to those who wait, but only the things left by those who hustle. Everyone right now, you guys better send Kasim some love. Send Kasim some love. I love that. Good things come to those who wait, but only things left by those who hustle. And this is so true, guys, because people can't figure out, like, man, where are these opportunities at? Well, you're waiting for them. We out here hustling and getting them and taking them and running and going and doing, right? This is my Sunday, and I'm here with you guys. Hustle. Be about something, right? Put yourself forth to help make things better, right? To better yourself, to better other people, to be awesome. All right, everybody. Listen up and listen good. This is all I have today. This is your greatness. This is your separator. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you have enjoyed this, take a second. Like this video. Send me a comment. Let me know you enjoy it. And subscribe. Come get all this goodness all the time. There'll be new stuff coming multiple times a week. So get on my social media. See when announcements are coming out. And get into this material and get your greatness. This is what we are here for. This is what we are all about. So thank you guys very much for hanging out with me today. And I will see you guys next time. Today is the day, guys. No more excuses. No more complaining. You're going to take your future in your own hands. You're going to dominate. You're going to be successful. Get to my website, studenttransformation.com. I challenge you. What are you going to do today to make your life better?